What is up, everybody? This is Recap or Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And we are recapping and reviewing Westworld Season 2, Episode 6. And it's called...
Phase Space.
It was so hard to say earlier.
So I want to ask you this. So
Phase
the
Space.
meaning of all... Okay, this episode got very, like, sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
And I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan.
I mean, it's a sci-fi show.
Yeah, but this one was, like, really, like, the concepts were really
sci-fi.
there. So
Okay.
basically what phase space means in, like, this whole universe is... in a dynamical system theory, a phase space is a space in which all possible states of a system are represented, with each possible state corresponding to one unique point in the phase space. So basically, like, it's showing you like all the possibilities of this world in one kind of
space,
all at once in a space.
Right.
Okay.
Got it.
So my question to you, because like you look confused right now too, does that mean that like what we saw at the end is the phase space?
Is the phase space, yeah. Or maybe
is the
it's
cradle
just,
the phase space?
I think the cradle is a idea of a phase space, but I think that the concept of phase space is probably just like what happens in a computer. I don't know.
But
like,
we're saying
all the
it's saying
possibilities.
it's like a system where like you see all the possibilities all at once, and it's sort
that
of
must
kinda,
be what the cradle
it kind
is
of also
then.
like throws the episode, because this episode we finally get to see everyone. It's not just like Dolores or just Maeve. It's kind of like all the stories that we've been seeing.
phase spaced out.
So we got phase spaced out
to the
so
world.
So let's get into it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I love the show, man.
Yeah,
I just like
so
everything about it is like it's so layered. There's just enough action. There's just enough intrigue. There's just enough smarts. Like
emotion.
It's such a smart
stories.
show. Such a love. Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. How about you?
I loved it.
You rubbed it. So
like
cute.
I said, I'm not a fan of sci-fi. So every time I say I loved an episode, I'm like shocked, because I'm like, I love this show.
Yeah.
Really. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I love it, but I
Truly
freaking love
madly.
it.
Yes. Yeah, it was good. So let's get into it. We're going to break it down just as we do like every episode for Westworld. It's kind of confusing. So we're going to do it by character this episode because we go through everybody.
Yeah.
Just make sure you guys stick around for our recap roundups at the very end of the episode. And as usual, make sure you guys like and comment and subscribe to the channel, because we always love and get some comments up in here. Anyway, let's get into it. So let's start with Bernard and Dolores.
Which was like one of the most like shocking moments.
Shockers.
Too, because basically the way the whole even season had started with Arnold, quote unquote Arnold, and Dolores. We're thinking that like it's Arnold and like Dolores like chatting.
Yeah.
But now from this scene, basically when like Arnold's talking to her, she's like, no. She's like,
that's not what he said.
That's not what he said. And so basically all of that has just been her training Bernard.
Yeah.
To like say the right thing, or to be the right person, or like to stay loyal to her too. So that's a huge shocker.
Okay, so what did you take away from that particular conversation? Do you think that it was Bernard being like modified by Dolores?
I think she's like testing him and training him at the same time.
In control, but they're both in control of Ford. Was that your understanding?
Oh, I don't know. I guess that's the assumption.
Or is it? I don't know. Maybe at that point in time, Dolores was already.
Dolores. Yeah, I feel like Dolores is like on her own, or like he somehow let her be on her own, to be like, let her do her own thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Because he never trusted Dolores. He never like thought it was a good idea, but then he was the one that also like let her shoot him in the head. I don't know. I don't know what the relationship's like, because I feel like he hated her. Like low-key. Yeah. I have no idea. Anyway, so we find out that Bernard is being trained by Dolores in this moment, so he's kind of like glitching out. So that was really interesting. Then we cut to Dolores and Teddy, and let's just talk about their storyline. So we get your man
was like,
turn up.
Oh yeah, like Daddy was so rude and violent and like psychopath. Yeah. Like he was really sexy.
So in this episode, he basically like turned him on.
And like the funniest thing is like I'm like rolling with like Evan Rachel Wood's like facial expressions, because I'm like, is she turned on right now, or is she like scared? Because I feel like she played both this episode. She was like, ooh, like he's
she was
hot.
Like processing, but I'm confused.
She's like, no, I'm kind of worried though, because like he's really violent.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, well no, he's like sexy though. Like she kept like going back and forth.
So the one big thing that he does is like, as they're interrogating the two like living captives that they have, Teddy
they're asking where the thing is.
Yeah, they're like, where is it? Where is she? Like whatever. Teddy just out of nowhere, because he's impatient, like blows this guy's head off.
Just shoots him,
and then just walks away.
He's like, whatever, we'll find it either way.
And like at this point in time, he's like even more ruthless than Dolores, because Dolores doesn't even do that shit no more. But he makes.
Are you liking the new Teddy?
You know what's sad to me is he says something in this episode while they're on the train to the Mesa. He says, I guess. He says something about being home. He's like, I always thought this place was my home. But I guess you
changed that for me too.
You changed that for me too. So for him to say that to her, it's almost like he knows that she changed him.
Yeah, I was surprised at that actually.
And it makes me sad to think that like there's that real person in him.
I didn't think that he'd remember that.
Yeah, me neither. So like a part of me feels like sad, or like maybe he's frustrated. I don't know, like, because I would want him to like not feel anything. I think what the thing is that he is
so rejecting his past right at this point. He is so, I'm so much better now. F my past. F who I was.
Right.
But I think that's what's worrying Dolores, is that like I think she almost wanted him to be like, I was this person, but now I'm this person. But like, let's do this. But whereas like he's just angry about it, and he's like, F old Teddy. And that's like a dangerous place to be, you know?
For sure, because like you are who
I feel like that could also mean like why he ends up dead maybe at the end, why he can see his body in the water, like
maybe
the first episode.
Maybe by the end of it, like
messes up,
or Dolores,
or she kills him.
Dolores says like, I'm sorry, you're not the one that I wanted. I want like true Teddy.
Yeah,
like I'm wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah,
and then she like kills him. Oh boy, we'll see. So the big thing that happens with them twos is they get the train a running.
Yeah, so they want to get on this train. And then basically the train, I guess, because we know it leads into the Mesa, so it goes in through the tunnel, through the hill, and then it goes into like the main like hub area.
Right.
So where we end off with them is just that they've locked one of the guys into that other car of the train. They hop onto the other train.
Yeah.
They like let the one go.
Yeah, and then it like
they unlock it, and then it sort of just like flies away into the tunnel by itself.
And then it blows up. And so I guess at that point in time, they're gonna like just walk through.
They're gonna walk through, I guess, into the Mesa, but we don't see that. Like
we don't see that just yet. Next episode. So that's their storyline. The next thing I want to talk about is Charlotte and the Hemsworth brother.
Yeah,
we get a really quick scene with them. So he's cheesed because this happens. The last time we saw him, he was still captured by Ghost Nation.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a fast forward after the fact that he gets like rescued. So I'm sure we're gonna see that rescue mission at some point in time. But Charlotte's essentially like trying to get him to take Abernathy downstairs and like lock him down. And like by lock him down, I mean like literally like nail him to a chair.
Like crucify him.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see the reactions. Like obviously Charlotte feels no type of way.
No way. No one else feels
She's
any
so
way.
Heartless.
He's like sketching out. He's like, this is so mean.
He's feeling some type of way. So I wonder if like we'll learn a little bit more about Ghost Nation and maybe the like effect that they had on him, because I think he was also like the security guard, right? Essentially. And
him and Elsie are very the same in that way. Like they want to see the best in this world.
But I think even before that, he was less concerned about them. He was like, whatever, they're just robots. He even tried to get them to freeze, but like after they stopped freezing, like he was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So maybe he learned something
along
about
the way. Yeah, I'm sure he's like,
so we'll see a little bit of it about his story. I'm not really sure what they're expecting to get out of him. Like, do you think that there's any big thing that we're supposed to learn from him, from getting released, or like
Hemsworth?
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe possibly. He must have I'm sure something with the Ghost Nation. I'm sure he's picked up along the way,
right?
But also we're seeing what Charlotte's doing in that like she's at this point retrieved the product, which is like Abernathy.
Yes,
she's told the people like, I got him now, like come and pick me up.
Right.
Which was why she's been stuck there the whole time, because like they won't pick her up until they get Abernathy.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, like what the F is in Abernathy.
F is in Abernathy. I feel like he's a lot more important than we think that he is.
Yeah, for sure he must be.
I just don't know what that information is that's inside of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we figured it out.
Is it like the coding of the consciousness?
I don't know. I'm not that thingy. Okay, let's move on to Maeve. Maeve had a really interesting, cool storyline. She gets to like the end of her journey, basically. So we're still in Shogun World when we first see her, and there's like a really quick scene of some Japanese guy fighting another Japanese guy,
because she has to get Hector still at this point because he's been captured. So like those guys fight. What did you think about that whole fight sequence?
I thought it was cute. I mean, at this point in time, like it's such a hard show to watch because it's so thought-provoking, and I really want to get to the end of it, but at the same time I want to sit and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like the wrong
I feel
setting.
like you definitely have to watch it twice. These
Yeah.
episodes, you got the first time you kind of just, you're seeing everything, you're seeing the story and the plot points.
Yeah.
Then the second time you have to really sit and like get into the world,
enjoy
and like
the
really
world.
like
Yeah.
observe what's happening.
It's true, because this
enjoy
I would
it.
have loved to watch like completely, like my mind was like completely turned off.
Yeah.
Because it's an action sequence. It was like just cool to see a little bit more of Shogun World before we left it. But I was just like, okay, move on. Like,
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so he
they
kills
fight,
it. Like the old man kills him. Like basically the Hector version
Yeah.
of Shogun World. Like kills that guy.
And it is like low key cute. Like he does it for Akane, which
Yeah.
is like the Maeve
to
of
get
the,
like
that
revenge on
world.
because he killed the daughter, right?
Right. So like it's this whole like, you know, this the parallel universe,
cute.
whatever, cute story. And then they get released and then they move on.
Yeah. So before they leave that town though, when she's like burying like her daughter, she takes out her heart.
Yeah, she cuts her heart out while she's like dead, and then she takes it to like a well. Is it a well or like a ceremony
so they
area?
walk in this beautiful park area. And then she finds like like a well, but there's like a little like burning like stone thing too.
Right.
And she like puts the heart on that.
Yeah.
And then I think Maeve's like, okay, like let's go now. Like now that you've like done this, like let's dip. And she's
Right.
like, no, I don't want to leave. I'm gonna stay here. Or like the guy said it.
Yeah, he's like, I
He's
don't
like, "We're
think that
gonna
we
stay
should
here."
go. So they stick around.
Yeah.
Sad moments.
This was like probably I don't know what got me. It was definitely really emotional. I think it was just because like these two, Maeve and her, like they're on the same journey, but like they're not at the same time.
Yeah.
And she was like, my fate is like to just stay here with her. Like
That's my
like
life.
at this point, like where do I go? She's dead. I have her heart here. Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like.
And this is the world that we
You
know.
know?
Like that's what the guy said too. He's like, this is
Yeah.
the world that we know. This is how we have to live.
And I think it was part of that too, is that like they want to protect their land.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge thing. Like
what is your life
they are
without
robots.
the land that you have?
Like
yeah.
they are fake robots that have been programmed to like know all of this, and like he's so devoted to like their land. He's like, no, I'm gonna stay here and like protect this like place because like it's
his
my
like
country.
devotion like levels
it
were
was
like
insane.
super
It
high.
was so
or something.
emotional, yeah.
So yeah, she leaves, and all the while the story maker finds like a trap door in like like some other area, and he's like, okay,
they like
we
go
gotta
down
go
the
down
chute.
this chute.
I think it's like the chute that like they throw the dead hosts into.
Oh,
Like to get rid of them from the world once they're dead, they just throw them down that little
To the,
tube,
like,
and then they're in like the area
Got
where
it.
they fix the bodies.
So that's what they do to get to like the next
Next
place.
world, yeah.
Or go. I guess they're going back to Westworld.
No, and that's my question. They weren't in Westworld, were they?
No, Shogun is beside Westworld.
Yeah,
but
and they would have stayed in Westworld if her daughter was in Westworld.
so they got lost, or what? I don't understand.
Can someone please explain to us what happened?
Or is this Ford's new world?
This is another sector, I
I
think.
don't
It's
even
like
know.
Sector 6 or something, they said.
But that doesn't make any sense.
I know,
because
it looked like
Ghost
Westworld
Nation
to
is
me,
in
and
there
Ghost
too.
Station's in there.
I don't know. So, or maybe it was like the trial area. Maybe it's like the test world.
No.
Instead of Westworld,
No,
it's
it
test
must be
world.
Westworld. Because it looks like Westworld,
Yeah.
first of all. And B, but like my question is like, why did they even go to Shogun? Like what made them go through that way?
Right.
They could have just gone to like her area.
So that part kind of annoys me. The fact that
Unless
they
it
didn't
was a
get
shortcut.
anything out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was a shortcut, but that's
Yeah.
stupid. Anyway, let us know what you guys think about that, because while I liked Shogun World and seeing it, if there was no point for her to be there, then why?
Like if it was just for a shortcut route, like it didn't really make sense.
Didn't really make any
but
sense.
thank you. Like cool.
Yeah, cute. Whatever. Sure. I'll go along with it. So she gets there. She finds her daughter.
Were you shocked that like it happened this fast?
No, because it's been 6 episodes. I'm
But like I
damn,
didn't think it
hurry
was
up.
gonna happen now.
So we get to the house. She's like, I know this place, and even the story. She thanks the story maker. She was like, thank you so much.
And
for getting me there.
they leave her like on the top of the hill. Like they stay back.
Yeah.
Hector's like, I'll come with you. She's like, no. Like I want to do it on my own. So they separate.
Right.
They can still see her, but she's like walking
She's
to the
far.
house.
Yeah. She's like meters away. So she gets to the house. She sees her daughter sitting on the porch, and she's like playing with a doll. And
what did you think in this moment?
I was like, she doesn't remember her, obviously. Like I already knew from the get-go. Like as soon as I saw the daughter, 100% she's not gonna be like, mommy. Like I knew that wasn't gonna happen, so I knew it was gonna be like a reset.
Did you know there was someone else?
I figured that there was gonna be someone. She's like, what is his daughter randomly like sitting there like doing nothing? I did for one moment think that she was on her loop and like playing with the doll. She couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, like I thought there was an error.
Abandoned.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, same. I thought like Maeve just like dipped and like they never replaced her.
So anyway, so she sees her. She tells her about her doll and like the doll. She's like, I'm scared because like the doll's gonna get hurt. And then Maeve tells this like really cute like story by telling her like, don't worry because her mom is like super strong and she'll always protect her. It was like this very cute like love moment. And sure enough, she was like, where's my mom at? And then she like turns and her mom's like doing laundry and it's like some next Maeve. Like it's like not like Maeve.
It looks like Maeve.
It looks like Maeve, but it's not Maeve. And so she's like so excited in that moment. So in that moment, what did you think? The whole reveal, the whole situation. Oh my God.
It was like, yeah, it's not surprising, but I'm like, oh shit. Like, what's going to happen now? Are they going to fight it out for their daughter? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, Maeve's obviously going to like snap that girl's neck, but like, who knows?
That's what I thought. I'm like, she's going to beat the shit out of her.
She's going to take the daughter anyway.
I crossed 6 worlds to get to my daughter. You're not taking her.
So in that moment, Ghost Nation like rides up on like
the house,
horses.
Which is exactly what the loop
happens
was
what
doing,
happens with the loop. And but this is a little different because Ghost Nation says,
so right away she runs, right? She grabs her daughter, she dips,
and this girl's like, mom, and she's like, girl, chalk like, down.
So she's like yelling for her mom. They run, Maeve and the girl, and then the guy chases them. Like Ghost Nation chases her down. She falls, and he says something.
He says, we need you to come with us.
Yeah.
And she was like, your path leads to death and destruction.
Yeah. She was just like sketching out. She's like, no, hell no. Like, I just got my daughter. Like, I'm not coming with you guys.
Right.
But he wasn't trying to kill her. He wasn't trying to tell her something.
He was like, come with us. He wasn't like, trying to like skin her head or anything. So what is going to happen with this whole storyline?
By the Ghost Nation.
So question number 1. What do you think is Maeve's gonna do with this waste girl now that it's like her daughter but not her daughter?
I don't know.
Like, do you think he's gonna try to make her remember? Is she gonna have to let her go? Is she gonna like try to get the story maker to reset her? Like,
I don't think it's gonna work.
Like they're just.
I think the daughter is gonna sketch out so hard that she lost her mom. Maeve is basically doing to her daughter what they did to her. Like they ripped her from that storyline,
right?
And like. She was left with all these feelings of like, I'm missing a part of me. This doesn't make sense. And like she's going through this grieving process. She's gonna do it to her daughter,
right?
Because the daughter's gonna say, "That's my mom."
But then again, that was her mom for like how many?
But she
seasons?
doesn't remember that. She's remembering that her mom is this, and this person stole her from me.
Yeah.
Like, how is she gonna?
How is she gonna make her change her mind? Yeah.
It's a very like ironic, like sad, ironic, like weird twist of events.
Yeah, twist of events.
I didn't expect her to rip her from another person. I expected her to get there and be like, oh my God, this is my daughter, like come through, whatever. But for her to take her from another existing role character,
that's true.
That's different.
That's tight. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see. And what do you think is gonna happen with Ghost Nation? What do you think they want at this point?
I think they know something greater. And I think they just want to say, like, come through, come with us. We want to, like, get us out of here or whatever it is.
Right.
But no one, like, trusts them because they look like psycho killers.
I know that we've already mentioned this, like, 5 times, but I really love the thing that you said a few episodes back where, like, maybe they just wanted their own. They just misunderstood. They just wanted a new storyline.
They want the because they wanted the screenwriter.
Yeah, they wanted
and he was, like, up the hill.
Yeah.
They didn't see him there, I guess.
No.
Oh,
I really feel like would be the cutest thing.
They'd be like, "Can you just rewrite our story?"
I would totally want that for them. Honestly, like if that was the bottom line, I'd be like so down for it.
What I was gonna say was, I think their story is gonna get explained when they dive into that main character's background.
Which one?
The leader of the Ghost Nation, who we saw in the orientation scene when they were,
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
I feel like they're gonna go into his past maybe and like look into that.
I mean, I didn't
not his past, but like
I didn't even make that clarification until you said it. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't know. Like they need to show him like washing his face or something because like I couldn't tell. Okay, let's move on to the MIB and his daughter. His daughter's name is
Emily.
No, it's not Emily. It's like the next one.
Leah.
No.
Michelle.
I forgot her name.
Anyways,
it's like not Emily. So
he's with his daughter, but at first he thinks that she's a host.
Yeah, because he's tripping out at this point.
He's like, bitch, tell Ford to like F off. He's like, you ain't my daughter.
It's like, you some twisted
and
shit.
And she's like, no, dad. Like, it's me. Yeah. Like, I'm here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm like a hardcore ass like woman.
Yeah.
And let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And by this point, they're like sitting by the fire, like cute moment.
Right.
And she's basically like, she says like a lot in that moment.
She says a lot. She basically says like, you're a shit dad, but at the same time, like,
Mom always knew that you were obsessed with this. She knew this world was gonna like hurt us. Yeah. It was never meant to be good, but you never like believed her. Like, she's just kind of like ripping him another like butthole.
So we do glean a little bit of information from his past, because we got a little bit of it in like a few episodes past with like, you know, a few flashbacks and a few like moments that we see in him. Like, we know that like his wife killed herself, but to see him, like someone who knows the MIB outside of this world, like in flesh and blood, and is able to actually have a conversation with him, it's very interesting to see that, you know, it's not Ford, it's actually a person who like knows his past, knows his family life, knows how. Yeah,
it was definitely an interesting conversation. And so she basically wants him to leave with her, right? She's like, this is like, you're not going to kill yourself here. This is stupid. Like, come back to the real world and like live with me. And I guess he says, he's like, so you're going to forgive me or whatever. Like, they're going to be like, okay now. Because I guess they haven't been speaking for like years or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, we'll be good if I come with you. And she's like, yeah.
I mean, she's like, it'll be a start.
She'll be like, yeah. Yeah. He's like, okay. I'm like, I don't trust this asshole one bit.
For 1 second.
No, he didn't even sound excited. He was like, okay, cool. That sounds good. And his fake ass smile, I was like, oh, he's gonna leave her there.
Yeah. So there must be a lot of
but we don't know what happens still.
We don't know what happens. She must have like forsaken him or something, and like was like, don't ever like come into my life ever again. And what happened to the mom?
Like, something must have happened and the mom killed herself. We still don't know why the daughters have two different names.
So my thing is that there must be something that happens with Emily. Maybe Emily dies in the world and she like, I don't know. There must be something. There has to be a death involved
in the world
for her and connected to the world where like, or maybe the daughter was sick and like he wasn't there for her and then she died and then
the mom killed herself.
And then she killed herself because like she was like so sad and he wasn't there for her. So, I mean, we obviously know how like the MIB plays and how he's become this like very selfish character. It was interesting to see that there was a person that actually gives a shit about him for a hot second. But
and he hates himself too.
He hates himself 100%. So, like, he hates himself so much that he needs to like
or wasn't there for something.
Disappear on his freaking daughter. He just found her and he's like, bye.
Yeah. So like, so the next morning she wakes up and she's like down and then he's like gone.
He's gone and she was like, son of a fucking bitch. Yeah. Like, what a piece
and he
of
took
shit.
all the horses too. Like
left like one man who's like stoking the fire. Like so useless. So anyway, so she's stuck. What do you think is gonna happen with her in the future?
I have no idea.
Because I thought that them linking up was going to be the situation. To be like, oh, okay, they're like together now.
Me too.
And they're going to like fight stuff together. But now like she's alone again. So I have no idea like what her final destination is going to be. Because clearly he doesn't give a shit about her.
No.
Like literally she can get shot tomorrow and he wouldn't even know.
And that's the thing. I was like, wow, like he really doesn't give a shit. Because he left her with nothing. Like no horse, no weapons, nothing. Like she can die.
She could die.
So I guess he does not care.
Or like he hates her. I don't know. That's a really effed up relationship. Yeah. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her. Fictional characters. Let's get into Bernard and Elsie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the final wrap up of the entire episode. Yeah. So they're trying to get into something that's called the...
So I think it's the cradle, but I think what's happening is when Elsie's trying to get into the whole code of this world and she's trying to override the host back to like being normal.
Yeah.
It's not working. She goes, whatever's happening to the code, it's improvising itself like to my attacks to it.
Right.
And like it can't possibly do that. Like how is it doing that? There must be something like living inside of this code that it's being able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So Bernard's like, okay, the only way we can like go in is like the cradle.
Right.
Which is like this room.
And you have to like do it manually. You have to like literally like physically go into it.
Yeah. You sit in this thing and it basically takes out his consciousness.
Yeah.
And then it takes him to this world?
It puts him into the program. It's like Matrix, essentially. So like he's going into the Matrix.
And she's looking at it on the computer.
No, she can't even see him.
Oh, she's not seeing anything.
He's like, tap me out in an hour, essentially.
Okay.
So like whatever he's doing, walking around the world or whatever, she can't see anything. So the entire time she's like, what you doing up in there though?
Yeah.
So that's very
So this is the scene from the promo last week where we see him basically on Teddy's loop. Like he's back in the train.
Right.
He's back in the train. Basically, it's the loop minus all the hosts.
Right.
The guests.
The guests.
So it's all just like the automated system of this whole world. So he's on the train. He gets to Sweetwater. He gets off. He walks with a little thing. He sees Dolores.
Yeah.
Walking to her horse.
Drop her can.
And then he goes to the saloon and he sees Teddy seeing Dolores. So we know that whole interaction. So that's a scene from the promo where I'm like, oh, okay, like
he's passing by.
Like thought something else, but
yeah.
He just passes him by and he walks into the saloon. And the piano's playing. And who does he see at the piano?
And at the piano he sees, hello, old friend. That's my best Anthony Hopkins.
It was good. And he sees Robert. We don't see Robert at the piano, but we see his reflection like at the piano in
the piano, yeah.
And that was a pretty like big shocker.
So my question is do you think that we're going to see Rob Ford, aka Anthony Hopkins, as a physical manifestation?
I don't think we'll see Anthony Hopkins again. I think why he even saw him at the piano is because the piano represents kind of Ford, and the piano represents
creation,
and it's dictating what's happening in that day, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So that's the piano. So I think that's kind of
the
just
controller.
Like the symbolism of all of that. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see his physical body, but he's obviously, the idea is that he's living in this code now.
He's within it.
And
the one thing that we did miss before Bernard jumps into the VR world, he says to Elsie, like, I've brought somebody here before. I brought someone here recently.
Which we knew because like, he had been seeing those flashes.
Right. So the question that I have is, do you think that A, it was Ford?
100%.
And
Ford
B, it was
him. There's no B. It's A.
But also B is that circle that he took from that other drone host area, like it's actually Arnold's. Ford.
Ford. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah. We're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he basically took that ball, like Bernard stole the ball, told everyone to kill themselves in the lab to like hide that whole situation, took the ball and put it into the cradle, and like he's living in the cradle.
He's living in the cradle.
Yeah.
Like as a conscious being.
I guess. Yeah.
And controlling the world.
That part I don't understand, and I was gonna ask you that. Like that I don't get. Like, is he actually living though? He's not He's not alive. Like his heart and his body's not beating.
Right.
It's just his mind.
It's just his mind.
Yeah.
So the question that I have too is now, like, I almost feel like we're missing, and I don't know if it's like shooting issues or like Anthony Hopkins is like piecing out or whatever, but I just wish that we had more Ford, and maybe we'll get more information from him through these
another actor.
So
or something.
What I think he's going to do is he's going to talk through other characters, which he's been doing to the Man in Black this whole time. So she's probably going to be like, he's probably going to turn around at the piano and it's going to be like the actual piano man. It's
or like someone. Yeah. It won't be him. Yeah.
And he's going to be like, I am Ford. So anyway, I just wish that we understood his motivation. I think that last season we saw a lot of like Anthony Hopkins like in his office, like walking around.
Why do you question his motivation? He wants to live forever in the world. But these are his babies. This is his creation. Why is he ever going to give it up?
But he also didn't like. Why did he want to make his characters sentient? Where like
because they were going to kill him either way. They were going to get rid of Ford either way. He was either going to get like they were going to kill him or like they were going to fire him, and he was never going to be allowed back into the park.
Right.
So he needed to literally like find a way to like stay there forever.
I see. But if his robots are like gonna go off and like try to like live outside of Westworld, then what was his goal? What's his goal?
Well, maybe he can control them even when they're outside. Maybe that cradle like lives within all of them, like it's programmed into them. Who knows? Like this guy's got layers on layers.
Like my thing is at this point, as the consciousness of Ford, would you want your people to like continue on their path? Like would you want Maeve to like stay and like do whatever you want to do, or would you want them to come back to you eventually? You know what I mean? Because if you're imagining, like, I think there were some analogies in the past with like, you know, Ford imagining his robots as toys. Like he wants to keep all of his toys in one place. Why would he ever want like Dolores, for example, to like dip? Why would he want Teddy
Maybe he wants them just to like reset the world, like kill everyone that's coming there. And then like at some point, like people are going to be like, okay, we can't like control these hosts. Like leave them on their islands. Yeah. Let them like live there.
My thing is I wonder if they're going to lead him or he's going to lead them to their next stage in life, which is procreation, which is what we've been talking about and the kind of like hinting about this whole time is is there going to be this key that they're all going to get and allow themselves to create new robots for themselves, like this whole idea of rebirth or birth, or I don't know.
But do you see that happening within Westworld, like in that world, or like outside in the real world?
I don't know. I feel like he needs to give them something before they leave, regardless if they stay in Westworld. I don't know, but also part of me is like, are we going to see something past the theme park? Are we going to see... Do you want to see something past a theme park? Do you want to see them stay in this world
and live their lives
and live their lives, trying to fight it or be it, or like just be okay with it? Like, you know, we're talking about Dolores and Teddy and the fact that they've been fighting back and forth of like, she wants to get out and he wants to stay in, and you know, maybe there's this final destination where they're just like, you know what, let's just stay
and create
in
a new world
and enjoy our lives here.
It's true.
And like have
I can definitely
our people
see it
here.
I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah.
But that's gonna only happen once the outside world gives up on them and says, just leave those guys there. We can't even fight them. They're too strong. Nobody go to that island.
By the way, that's literally how the Matrix like became the Matrix. They all like stayed on an island, all the robots stayed on an island, and then they like took over humanity.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
That's gonna happen.
But I think it's also important to note that like it is an island, and they have mentioned that before.
True. All right, well that's the episode. Let's get up into the recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment was Maeve's reunion with her daughter.
Oh,
I think it was just like that. Like I didn't
that
expect
was mine
it.
too.
Really,
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to happen this fast, at least. And it was really cute.
I think it was really emotional.
It was,
even though
and like I was already crying from like the like Shogun
Akane
scene.
one, yeah.
So then that happened. I was like, oh god,
It's like so
just
much
accept it and let it out.
Yeah, I thought it was really emotional. I think that she didn't get what she wanted, but I think that she's going to get what she needs, just like the song. Can't always get what you want. Who was your
WTF moment?
So my WTF moment is when the MIB leaves his daughter literally like with nothing. Not that I didn't expect it to happen. I was more just like, yo, you literally took everything and fucked her so hard. Like I didn't think she was gonna go.
I didn't think he would go.
extreme.
Yeah, that was like, you know pretty. What I mean?
Like, that's cold. That's ice cold.
Because she could die.
She could literally die, and he doesn't care. So that was my WTF moment.
My WTF moment, obviously, we both want to say like the ending with 4, but like not like including that. Yeah. But mine was, I think, realizing that like Dolores has been controlling Bernard the whole time, and it's not even Arnold, it's Bernard. Yeah. Like that was a huge like shock, and because it's been happening since the season opener that like, oh no, it's Arnold and Dolores and he's training her, and no, like she's training this mofo.
Yeah, which is really interesting because when they do meet like two episodes ago, like you wonder what their situation was. Like
so
it's almost like she
and
didn't.
These time lapses, these time changes are so confusing.
MVP. My MVP is going to be Bernard because I feel like he's getting ish done. He literally went into a VR world as a computer in a computer. So like he's doing stuff even though he doesn't know what he's doing. I think that he's just like doing, in terms of the overarching story, he's my MVP because I think he's like getting shit done. Right now, this episode was a bit of a filler except for Bernard's storyline in my opinion. So get it done, boy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would agree. Like Bernard is the MVP. But like, if I didn't have to choose Bernard, I'd probably just choose Elsie again. Because like I feel like they're working.
Their duo is so cool too. Yeah, I love them together. Yeah, she's like really killing it, and it was so cute that he like had so much confidence in her.
And he did, and she was like, oh, she's like, even though he's fake, like he still like compliments me. Like it feels good because he said, he goes, if anyone can figure it out, like you can do it. Like you'll figure it out. Yeah. I think also it's important to note that like none of this would be happening if he didn't find Elsie. There's no way he could have done the cradle without her. So like she needed to be there with him.
LVP.
My LVP. And you're gonna hate this. As much as I love her, it's gonna be Maeve.
Oh.
Because of what I had said earlier. She is literally doing to her daughter what they did to her. And all of these emotions that she's been dealing with, all of these, like all the times that she's been grieving and like wondering like, what's this missing feeling in my life? Like I lost my kid. Like she's passing it on to her daughter at this point. Like the daughter's gonna feel those type of things. And the fact that she's not even questioning that she's just ripping the daughter from her mom and like taking her out of her story and like making her go with her. Like, it's pretty messed up. Yes, I want to see that happen. Yes, I want to like see the end of her storyline with her daughter, but I don't know. I just think that moment was just like, girl, what are you doing though? Like, how do you not see that you're doing exactly what they did to you? So that's why she's my LVP.
My LVP was the Man in Black, because I just feel like, what the fuck,
God,
man?
Sure.
Like, I can't believe you suck so hard. So I don't really need to explain that, but yeah, he just sucked.
The best line.
What was your best line?
My best line, and we kind of both were talking about this before too, but it's in Shogun World when her name's Akane. And I think she says something about like, you gave us like, you showed us that we have like our own fates or paths, right? And when we can choose our own destinies, but like, even when your destiny leads to death, like, you don't care, because basically like Maeve was like, you're gonna stay here, they're gonna kill you, like, you can't just stay here, come with us. And she's like, no, I'm gonna stay here. Like, her heart, my daughter's heart is here, this is our land, this is our like home, like, we're not gonna leave, even if my destiny leads to death, like, I'm okay with that.
It was a very powerful
and
moment.
It was like, I'm getting chills right now, but like, it was like huge. It's like, whatever you do with your journey, it's up to you. Like, even if you're gonna die, it's okay. Like, that's your choice.
It is your life,
you know.
Yeah, super powerful. Now that I'm thinking about it more, damn.
That well scene, and I think it was so pretty, and like, she was holding her daughter's heart this whole time, and like, everything. It's just like, I was just very sad.
Even though it's a fake storyline.
And that's the thing, but at that point, you're so lost in the story that you're not even thinking that, because like, what they're saying is so true. Like, it's, you know, it's deep.
It's real. My favorite line is from the girl, the daughter, MIB's daughter. And she says, I always saw the appeal of it, life without consequences. That's what made it so fun when I was a kid. And that's why it's so sad that you're still obsessed with it now. So she's talking to her dad, and she's saying how he's like still obsessed with the world. And it just goes to show that like, that's how she feels about him. And she's like, he's this sad character who like couldn't get out of this. And
why? I want to know why. I want him to explain himself.
He must feel such an insurmountable amount of guilt that he's wasted so much time, you know, especially with like James Delos like failing so hard at that project, and how it took up so much of his life.
It's true.
That like,
it's true.
How can you turn around and be like, oh,
it was always
my daughters
leading up to that. Yeah.
Like, my daughters are fucking alive, and they're like, now my wife is dead. Now like, maybe his like first daughter's dead. Like, we don't know.
And like, just like adding on to that line too, she goes, Mom always knew how dangerous this place could be for us. Yeah. You never like saw that.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it in terms of timeline, he was so young when he had his first daughter that she must be dead, because this new daughter is so much younger.
For sure. Because when we saw that little girl, he was still young.
Yeah. And she even refers to like saying like, I was old enough to like go to Westworld now. So it's almost like she hasn't been for a long time.
True.
So anyway, that's another thing.
I love how she was like, I got it in. And he's like, ew, I don't want to know that.
All right, guys, that's the episode. Let us know what you guys think about this season so far. We're almost more than halfway done with it. Comment on the podcast and let us know what you guys think about it too. And
any questions, we probably have more questions than they do. If they can answer our questions in the comments, seriously. But yeah, let us know how we're doing. If you guys want us to keep going,
I mean, we're gonna keep going.
We're gonna do it anyways.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.